So guys, unfortunately this camera did not have a crazy update in the last couple of days, which would allow it to do 1000 FPS, let alone 1000 FPS at 6K. That would be insane. The reason the video is titled Super Slow Motion and 1000 frames a second is because I did it in post-production. So yes, the video you just watched is the equivalent of 1000 frames a second, but no, this camera did not do it. I used a plugin called Twixtor, which I'm sure many of you are already aware of, but I thought I'd show you my settings and how I got the best results and what I personally use in terms of Twixtor settings. Now, I don't really use Twixtor that much, but after this test, I actually would be confident using it for slowing down an establishing shot or something like that. I'd be really confident using Twixtor for like real estate shots if I want something very smooth and my camera move in 60 frames wasn't quite smooth enough. So the footage you saw was indeed the Blackmagic 6K in 6K itself in Blackmagic RAW, 60 frames a second. But yeah, then I sped it down to 5% in post-production, which if my maths is correct is around 1000 frames. 60 being 100%, 120 frames would be 50%, 25% would be 240 frames, 12.5% would be 480, and then 6 would be around 960. So 5.5 would be about the 1000 frames, which some of the clips in the edit went down to. I ranged between 3% and 7% to try and get the best results. But this is the edit right here, and let me show you my Twixtor settings and show you how to use it. So in this edit right here, I've got my widescreen bars on top, which will be an easy tutorial for the future. And then we've got my color correction layer, which I've added some lens distortion and some imperfections to try and help sell the slow motion effect and kind of make it blur in a bit more. And I hope that actually worked. And then of course we've got all my skate clips with Twixtor on them. And I've kind of cut them to the beat of the song. But let me show you how Twixtor works. So we'll go in here and we'll grab one of the clips like this, and we'll drag it to a new composition, and we're gonna have a look of, it's already cut of a section where I'd want to use it, and we can go ahead and tap up Twixtor, and we want to drag on. I actually use just straight Twixtor, not Twixtor Pro, so we'll grab that, drop it on, and the first thing you always want to do is uncheck this in FPS is out FPS, and you want to type in the FPS that you actually shot it at. So mine was 60 on the Blackmagic. You want to change image prep to contrast and edge enhance. You want to change blend to motion weighted blend, and you want to tick this button right here, smart blend. The other thing I also do is turn up the motion sensitivity to 100 for clips like this, but obviously you can just play around with the settings and see how you go. Let me also show you something with Twixtor. Let's extend the composition by about 10 seconds. So basically Twixtor will extend the clip, but say if you want it longer than the end of the clip, you're going to need to go ahead and go to layer, time, enable time remapping, and then when the Twixtor slow motion goes past this clip, you can just extend it out and the slow motion will keep going. So just do that as well, and now we can start doing Twixtor. So what you're going to do is you're going to change the speed right here, which is 100%. I'll go forward a frame, and I'm going to go down to 5%. Boom, just like that. And if we hit U on the keyboard, we get all our keyframes. And I'm just going to go ahead and move these back one frame so it starts in slow motion. And now we can see this playing back in slow motion. It's going to take ages because I'm in full, but we can go down to quarter. And you just watch it through. And I like to zoom in to see the movement. As in full resolution, it would be more evident. But you can go through and kind of see how it's affecting it and muck around with the settings a little bit. Until it looks pretty believable. The other thing I like to do is double click on this until you get this backslash quality and sampling. Not too sure what it does, but it tends to look the best for me. And like I said, if you want the slow motion to be longer than the clip, you can just extend this out and it will keep on Twixtoring. That is essentially how I did it. Now, there were instances where it didn't actually look that good. So I just went ahead and cut around them. The key to getting the best results from plugins like this and others like Warp Stabilizer are to play to their strengths. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's only so much the software can do. Some quick tips for when you're shooting to get the best results from Twixtor and Warp Stabilizer for that matter are to give the program as much data as possible. That means the less depth of field you have, the less motion blur you have, the more data the program has to analyze, and thus the better results you will get. So guys, super simple tutorial today, kind of just letting you guys know that Twixtor exists if you hadn't heard of it before, and some simple settings to get you up and running. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's tutorial.